The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
There's only one way the Vancouver Canucks can actually officially, allegedly replace JT Miller, and that's trade for Mason McTavish, a.k.a. do the impossible. But hey, Filip Chytil got traded for JT Miller, so you never know.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. The show that, brings you your Canucks every day is hosted by a guy named Kyle Bowen, me, and Trevor Beggs, who's in Australia. A one love to the Locked On Podcast Network and FanDuel. Yes, FanDuel is bringing you this episode, and they're giving you $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Okay, come on, FanDuel.com. Know the deets, and one love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us the West Coast bias, and one love to technology, because again, Trevor in Australia, the first dude to Canucks podcast out of Australia. Congratulations, you did it. You're making your family proud. Boom, bam. But also, puck you, you're wearing a Seahawks sweater, and that's offensive.
Oh, come on, man. I'm still representing the West Coast bias here in Australia. I still got the blue and green on, baby. And I'm definitely not cheering for the Packers. One of the things I watched on the flight over was the Brett Favre documentary. And I'm just happy to be a Seahawks fan. Of course, very happy to be a Canucks fan, man.
Wow. So you took a shot there. You're like, holy crap, Kyle, you're actually not a nice person. You don't care about your neighbors because I know you own some Brett Favre memorabilia. That's what you're saying. Anyways, Mason McTavish on the trade block. Maybe not really. Who knows? Just an RFA, right? His name is circling around, and that's basically more predominantly because he's got pedigree. He's Mason McTavish. He's a strong hockey player, really good hockey player, good leader, no contract. Anaheim wants him, but the more and more this lingers on, you hear rumors, you hear Buffalo, you hear Calgary. Sometimes you hear Vancouver. I feel like you should hear every team. That's how high I am on Mason McTavish, 22 years old, had like 50-something points last year. Played better on a shitty team, okay? Like, you don't want to let go of a guy like this. But let's say he is available. Trevor, how high are you willing to go? Let's just get right into it, because I think I'm going Coots and Willander for Mason McTavish.
Yeah, I think like fair value is probably around that, like a Willander in the 2026 first. And that's, I'm not even sure if Anaheim says yes to that. Now, the one thing about Anaheim is they got lots of good prospect defensemen in their pipeline, but they don't have as many names on the right side of the blue line. So that does make Willander an interesting target. It would be weird for the Ducks to give up on Mason McTavish, to be honest with you, because look, he was good last season, kind of like you said, but he didn't have the best season. And Greg Cronin kind of, limited his minutes, like looked at him more as a checking center overall. Now, of course, with the new coach coming in Joel Quenneville, you would think that guy's probably going to get the most out of Mason McTavish. But, that being said, if you're the Vancouver Canucks, you need that second line center. Mason McTavish is young. He's the kind of player that's got some size and some grit that this organization has targeted. I could certainly see them going as high as Willander in the 2026 first. I'm just not quite sure if that gets it done for Mason McTavish.
And yeah, I said I was willing to go Coots and Willander, and I know Anaheim probably wants players that are more ready to win now. And again, Coots, is a year older than whoever's getting drafted next year. But again, just the value, man. It's just out loud, it's not there, because I think across the league, this guy is highly coveted. And we saw that Florida did what they did, and that Mason McTavish could be perfect on Florida, straight up. And to use the word perfect again, Trevor, I think me personally, now, again, you could slap me in the face if you're in the comments, you want to come after me, go ahead. But a part of me is like, yo, isn't this guy the perfect guy to replace JT Miller? Just an incredible talent, back-to-back 40-point guy. Then he put up 50 points this year, down here, whatever. It's not like I watched a lot of Anaheim Ducks games. But, yo, the box score shows me that he had more points than Elias Pettersson. He's still young. Again, playing in a really, really crappy organization. I know they're trying to do things, and their GM has, all this bravado across the league. I feel like hockey podcasters are scared of Verbeek. Like they're They just want to no, honestly, they talk about this guy being the best GM of all time, right? Like a great leader. No, I'm just saying in general, I feel like he should be more scrutinized, but there's so much respect on that guy's name. But at the end of the day, Anaheim's not a good organization, and Mason McTavish at a young age has still gotten better. He hasn't taken steps back. Real talk, and again, I just think his trade value is just off the charts. But again, option number one, I just want to make that clear. If he's actually available, I'm willing to do more for him than for other players, considering obviously the age, the style of player, again, him replacing JT Miller, good old Canadian guy. I would be willing to give up the most. And Trevor, I'm going to throw that over to you again. I know you gave us one proposal, but give us an extreme, the most. This is the most I'd give up. This sounds crazy, but it's Mason McTavish. What do you think that package actually looks like?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned Braden Coots too, because, obviously he's not the same size as Mason McTavish, but a similar kind of player, high motor, high IQ, just balls to the wall every shift. And you can look at him as a potential future replacement for Mason McTavish. Now, in terms of how high the Canucks could go, could it be something like Willander, Coots, and Chytil, giving them the NHL-ready player now in Chytil, who's got some potential with Willander and Coots? I think that's too much for Mason McTavish, but I think that might be the ceiling of where the Canucks could go with this without just throwing them a bunch of draft picks.
Yeah. Okay. How about Chytil? If they could go get him for Chytil and Willander, obviously you do that right away.
Yeah.
Would you do Chytil, Willander, and conditional first round pick next year? Right. Let's say it's not Gavin McKenna. If it is Gavin McKenna, we'll get our first round pick back. But I know that's a lot. But would you be open to doing that? You lose Chytil, but you don't lose Coots. I know you're trading next year's first, but they really like Coots, and I don't know, Braden Coots. No, we didn't say Braden Coots. Filip Chytil, Willander, and a conditional first. I think I'm doing that, bro. I think I'm doing that. I swear. Wow. I think I'm doing that, bro.
You might be higher on Mason McTavish than me. You really think this guy's the next JT Miller, eh?
Well, why not, dude? Good old again, Trevor, you got me watching the playoffs this year, and I'm not gonna lie, I like truculence. I feel more Don Cherry than ever. And I know this guy's not a bully, he's not beating people up, but he's only 22 years old, and he just has the intangibles, and he's I don't know, dare I say, a good old Canadian boy. He's not a lunatic like Sam. He's not a lunatic like Sam Bennett, but I just want hard-nosed guys, the grit, and we're missing JT Miller. It's just the truth, guys. Trevor, I'm sorry. I know I should get over it, but 14 months ago, JT Miller was one of the best offensive players in hockey. And yeah, I mean, you could see that he would have the tools on a long playoff run to be a very effective player because of his physicality. We're missing that now. It seems like we're missing a bit of the X factor, and McTavish seems to have that. That's why I'm giving up a lot. I'm giving up a lot to get him. And remember, guys, Filip Chytil across the league may not have a lot of value, and to the Canucks he may not have a lot of value because they got him for Miller, and then right away they're trying to ship him for Josh Norris.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Filip Chytil, I think he's on the trade block for your Vancouver Canucks. I mean, pretty much everyone is on the trade block except for maybe Quinn Hughes, and they want to keep parts of their defense together for sure. But I mean, look, Kyle, I just feel and look, we had that episode on Friday with the Canucks. They're winning the Stanley Cup next season, so it doesn't matter, man. Just stick with the roster. But for a team that lacks the assets like the Canucks do, and maybe we'll get into that later on in the show, some research out there saying the Canucks draft pool is still not very good. Does it make sense for the organization to give up a bunch of prime assets for Mason McTavish? I think he's a good player. Do I think he's going to be the next JT Miller and get 100 points and be a top line center? I'm not convinced of that. I think his peak is probably 60 to 70 point physical second line center, but Sam Bennett-esque, right? And that's what everyone's gonna be chasing nowadays is the next Sam Bennett. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'd be very hesitant if you're talking Willander, Chytil, and first. I'd be very hesitant to trade a package of that size for Mason McTavish.
Dude, you should have named your son Bennett Beggs, or I could name my son Bennett Bowen.
Hey.
Bennett JT Bowen. It is what it is. Yo, Trevor. Answer me this, though, and let me know in the comments, because now my hockey nerd brain is going off, okay? So, do you think, the Noah Dobson trade package, which, I mean, to some it's a lot, to some it's little. I would say it's polarizing, right? That's all you have to give up for Noah Dobson. what does that do to McTavish's trade value? Like, are we overblowing it? Like, who would you rather have, Noah Dobson or McTavish?
Yeah, I mean, the Canucks need a player like McTavish more than they need a player like Dobson, right? But if Dobson, was a 70 plus points was his career high. I mean, that's higher than Mason McTavish has ever gotten. But that's what I'm thinking about. If you're acquiring a player like Mason McTavish or trying to find the next JT Miller, and the Miller we traded for like 24, 25 years old. I mean, it's a package like that where you can hold on to your top prospects. You trade a first and a second, and maybe another mid-range prospect as well. That's the kind of deal that I think makes more sense than trading like, Willander and Coots and Chytil in a first. Like, it's got to be, you want to hang on to most of those assets in terms of Coots and Willander. So I think it's probably, if the Canucks could even pull that off again, Anaheim, much like Buffalo, much like these teams have been stuck in perpetual rebuilds, like how much do they really want a first and a second round pick? Like, I'm comfortable trading Willander for a guy like McTavish, but for the amount, for the other stuff that you'd have to add to a trade like that, like that's what starts to give me some hesitation.
No, this is why I like talking to you. You're right. That's a lot. I'm glad we got to like.
Do you like talking to me, bro? Do you?
No, I like talking to you because it's just like you walk me down. You just calm me down a bit, And I'm like, if that's how much Montreal got Dobson for, like, maybe I should just tone it down and still believe that we could have a chance to pull off like a bit of a quote unquote robbery, where we're not giving up everything to get McTavish through the door. The leadership department obviously very, very appealing too, and we bring up Tom Willander a lot in trades too. Like I actually wonder, and again, this is only based on interviews, and I know I called him Eric Lindros a couple months ago because I was emotional, and we just went through the craziest hockey season of all time in our lives, and there Tom Willander was holding out, and I'm like, what are you doing holding out for $8,000, bro? Like, chill out. Don't be pulling a Mitch Marner, Anyways, he has the intangibles of being an incredible leader too. So you know how like a part of me is like, I want dogs on my team. I want guys who just want to win. I want guys who can rally the troops. And, I know JT Miller this year, villain, 100% villain. Dude, the Green Goblin and Spider-Man, JT Miller worse than that guy. No, that's what it felt like, dude. Brett Favre, JT. No, I'm joking. Okay, hold on.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. Okay.
No, hold on. Wait, hold on. We ain't gonna go
Brett
there,
Favre
man.
is the next JT Miller. Wait, what?
This is why you got to watch out for your toxic friends. See, Trevor planted that in my mind, and then I started saying stuff, okay? Where am I going with this? He the guy was all that, but he was also a dog, and you could see that, in the game, the intangibles, the game of hockey. Like, he could be a piece of shit in the dressing room, but if he pulls something off in game, that's what matters. That's his style of leadership, and we're missing that. And I know Tom, that's why I want McTavish, but Tom Willander isn't the mean guy, but I feel like in other ways, his leadership ability is going to be so pivotal in the success of this organization. Like, he seems like he inspires me. He makes me feel bad for myself. I'm like, how come this guy's 19 years old, 20 years old, talking like that and doing all that already? But all in all, he's also making me just, again, gravitate towards what he could do for that room. And I'm talking about ASAP. Like, as soon as he enters that room at 20 years old next year, whatever it is, like, I think that, like, his aura, I think that's what the kids are using now. It's going to rub off on the room. So, again, if we don't get McTavish in that leadership, just know, like, Willander's coming, and he has a bit of swagger to him that's good for hockey.
Yeah, I think a couple more points to make here before we wrap up and go to break, Kyle. But I feel like they're saying similar things about Mason McTavish in Anaheim, right? Mm-hmm. The leadership qualities, the presence that he brings in the locker room. He's a well-spoken guy. I think they're saying similar things about McTavish and Willander. So that's why I think that there's, an interesting trade there between Willander and McTavish if something's going to happen. I think the other point here is that I think if McTavish, I know he's got to sign still as an RFA, but I think a McTavish trade becomes more likely if he gets off to a slow start next season and doesn't, mesh under Joe Quenneville. Because I think right now they're going to look at him and say, okay, so Greg Cronin, looked at more as a third line center, like maybe didn't, give him the same opportunities. Can you do it with Joe Quenneville? And if he doesn't, that might be when you can pull off that, Tyrese Halliburton type steal, right? And hopefully get this guy maybe for pennies on the dollar if he starts to sour under a couple of head coaches in Anaheim.
Damn, Trevor putting it out there, man. He's wishing the worst for Mason McTavish. He wants this guy to not succeed. I like that. I like that strategy. Putting that bad voodoo out there. Should we all get Mason McTavish voodoo dolls? Like he's about to sign an extension, and not an extension, but a new contract as an RFA. It's like a 6-year deal worth like $7 million plus a year, blah, 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 whatever it is. But in the first month, he has like 2 points in 11 games. Trevor wants that to happen. He's praying for that every night. And I'm kind of praying for that too, because maybe then, you can pull off that Halliburton like trade. Anyways, let's take a break. Get to the other side. There's so much to talk about, Trevor. I know you're in Australia, the time difference. Like, what day is it? December over there?
Yeah, it's December 4th. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know this is a difficult one, but again, thank the universe for who was it? Albert Einstein who invented electricity. Okay, but we're still able to do this show. Okay, on the other side,
Edison, bro.
we're gonna talk about Filip Chytil. Okay, like, do we gotta all shut up? Right? Think about it. 2025, technology off the charts. Like maybe the concussion thing isn't that bad, and he's just a damn good hockey player too. And we should believe in his pedigree. And we'll get to being compared to the Buffalo Sabres as well. But before we do that, we gotta shout out our friends, man. Who we shout out, Trevor? FanDuel? Is it FanDuel?
All right, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel, baby. It's summer, man, and the NHL is it's not on anymore. You can do those futures bets, but the NFL, it's kicking into high gear, and the CFL is in full swing, baby. And my BC Lions, they picked up the dub over the Montreal Alouettes, sneaking one out, a 21-20 victory. That's when I had my first airport beer after 47 hours of traveling. I got to watch that beauty right there. But whatever bet you're placing, make sure you go do it on FanDuel, okay? Because the app is so damn easy to use. Even an old fart like me can figure it out. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Don't believe me? Go check it out for yourself and go visit FanDuel.com now to get started.
Wow. International ad read, man. Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, Kyle Bowen, and the second best dad in the world. Speaking of which, you're in Australia. I hope you brought your children. What's going on there, Trevor? Like, is it a family vacation? Like,
ooh, shots fired.
Oh. Okay, yeah, it's okay, man. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn it too one day. Sometimes you need a break. Why do you have to wait till 18 to get a break, right, Trevor?
Dude, just look at me right now, man. Look how rapidly I've aged because of the 5 years of parenting, man. It's I've gained about 12 years on my life in the last 5 years. So yeah, I'm getting a week off here, man. And my in-laws, man, love them to pieces. They're I trust them more to watch after kids than I trust myself, anyways.
Hey, man, one love to good grandparents, and just one love to you. I hope you have a really, really good vacation and just relax. And still do this, and that's talk Canucks, because there's always something to talk about. And I feel as if you and I have not talked about Filip Chytil enough. And before we actually dive completely into Filip Chytil, I thought of something. Okay, I thought of something, and we're gonna play a game here, and we're gonna click a button. Okay, Trevor, should the Canucks not make any trades for a second line center this year, and not do so because look at the free agent list next year. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like the UFA free agent list, and you never know. Okay, the Canucks have one of the best players in hockey. They have a good goaltender. If he's healthy, they have the best goalie in hockey. Like, you never know. In 1 year, this could be a sexy place to play. And look at this list. Okay, Connor McDavid, Jack Eichel. Those are the centers. Martin Necas can play center too every now and then. But can Alex Tuch play center? I don't know. But those guys are going to be available. And do you not make a move this year by trading so many assets and just wait to see if any of those guys actually get to UFA status? Because that's a different list than just what Pius Suter. It's as an organization, are you a little bit more patient and just hope?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument for that, right? And when I look at that list, the first thing that comes to my mind is get ready for the Martin Necas mega signing next year for the Vancouver Canucks, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
Look, it's I think some of those top names, like I think Kaprizov, Eichel will stay where they are. McDavid, who the heck knows what he's going to do, but I don't think he's coming to Vancouver. But Martin Necas is a name that stands out, right? A player that's been chased by this organization previously. I could certainly see them, taking a big swing and bringing Martin Necas to Vancouver next offseason. And apparently he's even been on the trade block in Colorado, and it's like, he had to butt heads with Rod Brindamore, and now he's on the trade block in Colorado. Do you really want this guy? But man, oh man, the Canucks love this guy.
Yeah.
And if Pettersson bounces back, and Necas can be, he'd be a really solid 2C. So, look, in terms of chasing a center, I mean, we'll have to see what shakes out this offseason. I do think there's going to be more trades coming. I think there's a lot of teams not happy with their current roster construction. But what makes most sense for the Canucks is, unless that Tyrese Halliburton, Mason McTavish type steal comes about, you're probably better off waiting and seeing how next season plays out, and maybe preparing yourself to make an even bigger swing come free agency. And honestly, Martin Necas, I want to bring him one more time here. If the Canucks have a good season, perhaps he's even like a trade deadline rental target. And I think that's less likely just because he's playing on a good team in Colorado. But he's certainly a name I'd be watching for the Vancouver Canucks, or a player to become a Canuck in the next 12 months here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a strategy. I feel like a lot of teams are going to be doing that, and it's you can't do it all in 1 year. But I will say this, like, the Canucks don't have to win the Stanley Cup to have Quinn Hughes sign an extension next year. Like, they have another good season here. I know last year sucked. I'm just talking about, like, if they compile a good season here, win a playoff round, the city's buzzing, then he can look back at it and be like, the last 2 out of the last 3 years, they're actually like, we're taking steps. And if it wasn't for Miller versus Pettersson and that soap opera, come on, like, let me just fulfill my destiny here. Cause he seems like a competitor and a guy that obviously wants to win, but part of me feels like he's a bit of a hockey nerd, and that legacy component kind of matters to him. And then he's seen other guys like Draisaitl stick around for so long and McDavid stick around for so long. And I don't know, maybe it matters to him, if it's not an 8-year extension, maybe the Canucks get to the second round next year, and he's like, when eligible to sign an extension, is like, okay, I'll sign a 3-year extension. You never know. So if all that happens and we don't trade our assets this year for a second line center, look who's available. You just take your just wait it out. Again, we mentioned the centers, but like Trevor alluded to, Kaprizov, Kyle Connor, Jason Robertson, Kempe, it's a little different next year. Okay. Next offseason, bro, it could be something. Okay. And also another reason why the Canucks could be patient is because Filip Chytil, he has that competitive nature. He has that energy about him and that exuberance. And you want the best for this guy, especially based on everything that he's gone through with his concussions, but also because you want this guy to seize the opportunity that he's been waiting for. And he seems like a good guy. And it's you never know. Filip Chytil could be really good still, Trevor.
Muted, buddy. My bad. It's interesting, man, with Filip Chytil. Even when I was going to exercise last week, looking at kind of, per 82 averages, Filip Chytil's career average per 82 games is 16 goals and 35 points, which does not scream second line center. But how we've seen it, man. This guy's got the potential to do it. He's got breakup potential. And look, JT Miller had 47 points, then comes to Vancouver and has 72 and 69 games.
Ooh,
and
say it.
There's that recipe for Filip Chytil to do the same if he stays healthy. Again, he's never been in a top 6 role for an extended period of time. His points per 60 rate is good. It lines up with a low-end first liner, high-end liner. Has not had a lot of power play time in his career. And dude, he's got the wheels. He's got the mojo. He can skate the puck in with speed. He can make plays happen. I think the more and more he can get into a groove in the Canucks top 6, I really do think this guy could have, I think, a reasonable expectation for Filip Chytil next season is kind of 55 to 60 points, which would be an awesome season for him. I think we should be looking at this guy to hit the 50-point plateau. That would define a successful season for Filip Chytil. I'd be staying healthy and hitting 50 points. But I certainly think that 25 goals, 55, 60 points is in the realm of possibility. And I hope he doesn't make that take look dumb, but I do believe he's got that potential.
I believe he just has the enthusiasm, man. Something about the way he conducts himself to the media. He has a bit of charisma to him. We saw the way Chelny talked about him too. New York just has such an angry fan base, but they love Filip Chytil, and I think that has a lot to do with again, his energy, man. So he just loves the game of hockey, and he happens to be very, very talented as well. And he just got to stay healthy, man. He's got to stay healthy. And this brings up another point. This will be the last note we make before we get to break. But at the top of the show, I'm like, oh, I miss JT Miller. We're missing some of that FU. Like, we have not replaced that. I don't know. Like, I know Evander Kane might have got jumped at Pierre's. I don't know how that tough that makes him look. Hey, maybe it didn't happen. Allegedly, assumingly, who knows? But we got Evander Kane. So maybe we have, addressed the toughness thing that JT Miller left, No? And like, I only bring that up. I only bring that up because Filip Chytil needs the protection, right? Like, we got to make sure this guy doesn't get hit again.
Yeah, I think they have to an extent, right? Between, we talked about it before, like they could theoretically have a guy on every line that could bang a crash, right? Or at least be a nuisance, right? And, even the smaller guys, Garland and Höglander, pain in the asses to play against. DeBrusk, he's got more physicality to his game. I hope he brings it because he's got that potential. Then you got Kane, you got Joshua, you got Ratu who likes to hit, you got Sherwood, you got Drew O'Connor. Like, you got a lot of physical guys in the lineup now. And they like they're going to drop the gloves every shift, but they do got guys who can protect guys like Chytil, Pettersson, Hughes out there.
Dude, needs to happen, bro. It literally needs to happen, bro. Like, again, whether it be Hughes or again Chytil, like, these guys can't get hurt again, and Jason Dickinson can't just think that he can, board Filip Chytil in like a meaningless game, right, for Chicago, and not fear that he's going to get decked in the face. Those little things happen. Like, Trevor, you play hockey. I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming you're a bit of a soft player, not going to lie. Yeah. But, every once in a while, like, maybe you feel like maybe you feel like you can take liberty.
What the hell's that supposed to mean?
Hey, Trevor, different conversation. Aaron Gray been texting me, okay? A little bit more toughness from you would be nice in the playoffs, okay?
Aaron Gray called me Darcy Hordichuk in the last game, man. Unbelievable. You better text that guy.
Oh, I didn't get the story, dude. Damn. Because I was going to say, maybe you're afraid to give a two-hand whack to somebody in front of the net because you don't want to get punched by the tough guy on the other team. But I guess, man. Okay, that's okay.
Little ball monkey heart right there too, in the battle.
Oh, okay. You know what, Trevor? Let's get to the other side, man. Anyways, Filip Chytil, one love to you. Best of luck and stay healthy. And I'm excited to see you play. And maybe the Canucks don't do anything because there's money to be spent next year. Anyways, when we end the show off, we'll be bringing up some of your comments and talking more about Trevor Beggs and his injuries over there in Australia. Maybe he was a playoff performer in hockey, or maybe you got jumped by a kangaroo. Find out next on Locked On Canucks. People, we back doing this, and that's, talking offseason, talking puck, talking the Vancouver Canucks, Kyle Bound at the Don't Doze Art Lab, Trevor Beggs in Australia. And Trevor Beggs, I hope your wife's not watching this episode of Locked On Canucks. Yo, look at this comment from Satisfying Video saying, Trevor, you are so hot and I want you. That is crazy. That is, I don't know if you want to talk to HR. No, Trevor, you shouldn't be blowing a kiss. Satisfying Video should actually comment if they're allowed to flirt with you before they post a comment like this, Trevor. That's 20. Hey, man, we got to protect ourselves out here, man. It's a mysterious world, this internet stuff that we're doing, okay? Trevor, man, on it. You got a family and Satisfying Video. I just want to say I took offense to this when I read this. I thought of your wife, man. I was like, hey, man, what? It's open season on Trevor. You can just flirt with them? Come on. It's a family match. Satisfy SV. I'm going to call you SV.
Well, I'll go ask her after this, man. I mean, look, man, it's I'm in vacation mode right now, buddy. I'm loving life. Look, I did start this podcast in a hoodie because it's winter in Australia, but now it's like 25 degrees. It's 8:30 in the morning, man. I'm sweating buckets now, so I'm ready to start the day, man. It's my first full day of vacation. Let's effing go, buddy.
Driving, man. Hey, let me know if you want me to protect you, man. We can go to HR, do something about this, because...
Yeah, apparently I need the protection because I'm Mr. Soft Guy in ball hockey. Unbelievable.
Hey, Trevor, man. Hey, just let go of the comment. Hey, man, it's just podcast. Okay, you know what? Next comment. Man, and then we got Bob Luger saying, watch out for the Crocs and Ruse, Trevor. Okay, so you're in Australia. We got to ask this. Remember, rest in peace. What was his name? Steve Irwin, right?
Yeah. Crocodile Dundee, yeah.
Legend. Fearless. Straight up. I don't know how you grow up, wanting to like talk to alligators and stuff, All in all, are you scared of the animals out there? Like, are you scared if a kangaroo was right behind you, just looking at you, and threatened your family, would you fight it? Like fist fight it? Because I've seen the videos. Those guys could. No. Why are you laughing? I'm actually being serious. Like I've seen the videos, bro. Like kangaroos are willing to get into fist fights with human beings. It's kind of weird. But would you do it? Because I would run.
Yeah, it would be. It depends how much liquid courage I'd have. If I was sober, I'd probably do the smart thing and run away. If I had a few drinks in me, I'd probably try to start fighting.
Bro, I'd hit it with
liquid courage is a powerful thing.
I'd hit it with the choke slam.
You just said you'd run away.
Nah. Then I thought about it, and I'm a protector, man. I'm a man. Dude. I'm 32 and a half years old, man. Straight up. I did the grouse grind yesterday. I felt 32 and a half years old. Hour and 20 minutes. Hour and 20 minutes. What happened to me? Before I had a girlfriend, It was 57 minutes. So Trevor, why haven't you? We've seen each other like in the last 4 years. You see me grow up. You see me be a boyfriend. But how come you never told me I was getting fat, bro?
Well, you know what, Kyle? I didn't really think about you, man. Your flex bound. I keep focusing on your bigger muscles compared to my, wiry frame. And this is what the summer's all about. I need to build a bit more muscle. I guess you got to you whip up your endurance. And by the end of August, you and I are going to do the gross grind together. And we're both going to do it in under an hour, buddy. Let's go.
That's what I'm doing. Again, I wasn't talking ish. Okay, I said, if we want Elias Pettersson to get back into shape, right? If you want this guy to get jacked, if we want him to take the offseason seriously, all the listeners and me and Trevor, we got to do the same thing. So Trevor said it at the end of August. We're doing the grouse grind together, and I'm up in my time by 25 minutes. And if I don't do that, I'm quitting Locked On Canucks. Okay. Anyways, let's get to the interwebs. And just read something that Trevor did send me, and it's kind of scaring me. Okay. Let's swim in the ocean here on Locked On Canucks. Okay, Trevor, can you describe what I'm looking at and who actually made this chart? Do you know their Twitter account? I just stole their photo.
Byron Hayter. I can't remember if he's Elite Prospects or somewhere else, but look at that. The Canucks are so bad that they're actually not even viewable on the photo that I can see right now. I go to 29, which is Ottawa. The Vancouver Canucks on this prospect ranking post 2012 NHL draft is 31st in the league. Only the Florida Panthers are worse, which is saying something because they've traded away all their prospects and picks over the last couple of years. And look, Kyle, I mean, I do take lists like these with a grain of salt because we've seen, talent in terms of some Canucks prospects like a Shelovs, like a Manchi, some of the older guys in Abbotsford who are, I think, better than people give them credit for, especially if they're not paying attention to this market. But that being said, let's not kid ourselves into thinking we have this amazing prospect pool, right? And it is going to hinder this team's ability to, make bigger swings. But I mean, like at the end of the day, prospects aren't everything either. I mean, look at the Anaheim Ducks, 8 years out of the playoffs. I'm looking, where are the Red Wings on there? The Red Wings are middle of the pack. Been in the playoffs for 9 seasons. I mean, look, prospects are one thing, but these are projections for a reason, and they're going to change ultimately over time. So, again, with the Canucks, it's Willander, Lekkerimäki, and Kuus. Like those guys. It's those guys and a bunch of the rest, right? I mean, you might want to include Shelovs in that category as well. But yeah, this was a bit of a depressing thing to wake up to this morning. I mean, I was like, oh yeah, vacation, let's go. Let's just check the phone before I get up for the day. And then I read this and I'm like, this effing team, man.
Yep. So again, according to Hockey Prospecting and Byron Bader, the Canucks have the 31st ranked prospect pool. In hockey, it is what it is, and who cares? Because again, a lot of these people who are making these rankings, you think they're staying up till 9 p.m. to watch Abbotsford Canucks games, like 60 minutes of film? You got to take that into consideration too. Yeah. Remember, a lot of these hockey nerds out there making these charts, they had Quinn Hughes as the 79th greatest defenseman in the league right now, not too long ago. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but only a bit. That says something. Remember, like 20 something months ago, Quinn Hughes was and dude, again, it's because they're not watching the games. I know we didn't have a Norris like 30 months ago, but they had Quinn Hughes like ranked at like tier what was it, like in the 30s to 40s, and like the
Tier
best
3B, never forget.
Tier 3B, and it's like, dude, again. So all in all, yeah, this is not a surprise because there's not a lot of league-wide cachet and like first round or second round talent in the system. Like considering the Canucks have been so bad, you kind of want that number to be like 5 or 6 more like, you know what I'm saying? Like over the last 10 years, you kind of wish the Canucks had at least 6 to 7 more second to first round picks in their system. I'm sorry, maybe not the last 10 years, but even the last 5 years, like you just want that because that's what bad teams do. They just, they stack up the cupboards. The Canucks have done the total opposite, but I don't think that takes away from like how good Mancini is, how good DPD is, what Archer Shilas has accomplished. Max Sasson coming out of nowhere. I'm not saying these guys are the top prospects in hockey, but like they're good hockey players, Trevor. Okay. That being said, that wasn't the only thing that was put on Twitter today that got me pissed off. Again, we're swimming in the ocean. This is the last thing I'm gonna know. But NHL Watcher, this tweet got 250K views. Said this. Okay, here are the teams I'm sure will miss the playoffs next season. Above the other ones, okay? And he said Detroit, Buffalo, and Vancouver. I think I'm reading that tweet a little bit wrong, but he's putting us in a category of like these mushy middle teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. And it used to be like Detroit, Buffalo, and Ottawa, but now it's Detroit, Buffalo, and Vancouver.
Some work to do to make to the playoffs next year, but so did Detroit and Buffalo. I mean, look, anything can happen. Like, look at the Columbus Blue Jackets almost making it to the playoffs last season. Look at the Montreal Canadiens making the playoffs this season. I mean, honestly, man, you could talk shit, but you don't know what the hell's gonna happen in the NHL, man. Like most teams got a shot. I mean, they're welcome to parity in the NHL, buddy. Let's end it with a nice comment, Kyle, before we get out of here on Locked On Canucks. I don't have the buttons, but I want to answer this one from NGK.
Okay.
He's saying, where are you at down there? I'm in Brisbane right now, visiting some friends. And then last one, man, oh man, let's go to a satisfying video saying, Kyle, you are hot too. So there you go, man.
Hey,
come on,
man.
It's a good looking duo on Locked On Canucks.
Nah, man. Don't be. I want to continue doing this podcast, so I'm gonna delete that part from the video because if my girlfriend sees that, I don't know what's. She thinks that this is a hockey podcast, not an adult hotline. Okay, come on, Trevor. Okay, straight up. Now, Trevor. Again, sign us out in like 1 minute. One love to all y'all listening. Hit the like button, subscribe, share it with a friend. Boom, bam. We're here every day, even in the off season. Would you eat a kangaroo burger?
Oh yeah, I've eaten kangaroo before.
Yo, Trevor, that's crazy. I hope a kangaroo pops up behind you, just decks you in the face and kicks you in the neck. That's crazy. And then puts you in his pouch and runs away, dude. That's crazy.
Okay, no. I've talked to Australians about this, and they say like kangaroos are technically rodents for them, right? So they're kind of like, oh, you're doing us a favor by eating kangaroos.
Dude.
I'm not sure if I've had emu though. I might have to try emu.
So how did you eat the kangaroo? How did you eat it? Like in what? Like,
I mean, to be honest, this is a weird time to try it, but I tried it when I was in Austria at this like Euros 2016 watch party, and there was like an Australian stand, and I had like a kangaroo, like it was almost like a wrap. It was weird. Anyways, man, that's not a great story, but that was the one time I tried kangaroo. That was the first time I tried it, at least. Sorry.
Honestly, Trevor, I wouldn't be surprised if you ate a beaver. Because you are just...
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Maybe a beaver tail.
Rodents. You like rodents, and apparently you like going after countries' national animals, okay? Maybe you need to go to therapy. Anyways, sign us out.
I'm just following the trend, man. I'm just following the trend. You know, one love to all you listening, no matter where in the world you're from. NGK saying he's going on Aussie for the first time in December. I mean, that's the best time to go. I'm actually here in winter, but again, it's 25 degrees. But wherever the hell you're listening from, we appreciate the hell to you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks, because this is the most dedicated Canucks podcast out there, man. Kyle Bowen running it solo. I'm joining from the other side of the world and talking to you about the Canucks in freaking July, because we love this damn team. We love doing this for you and you. So if you like what we're doing, go like and subscribe, or even better, share this podcast with a friend on the podcast side. Go follow us and leave a 5-star review. All the birds, they want me to shut up too, man. So let's get out of here. I'm Trevor Beggs.
No, they're telling you a kangaroo's about to pop up behind you and just eat your head off, because that's what you deserve, man. Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.